It's very fun. I think you're going to love 4th edition. I am having an absolute blast. In fact, Chris and I were up till about 2 in the morning talking about how much we're enjoying playing it. And when I joined the D&D brand team in December of 2005, I heard about this project called Orcus. And I was sworn to an oath of secrecy about what Orcus was. A couple days later, the circle of trust was opened up a little bit, and they told me what Orcus was, and I learned it was the 4th edition rules of D&D. I then went on to paternity leave. My wife had twin daughters, and I was sort of out of the loop for a couple of weeks during the Christmas break. Came back in late January, and we had our first sort of cross-functional brand R&D across the company. Everyone was really involved in an off-site summit where we talked about what 4th edition would be. And one of the things that was brought up was the R&D's team, their vision for enhancing the play experience for D&D. What types of things could we do to bring more people into the game? What types of things could we do to make the DM's job easier? How could we expand the content that we deliver, expand the community? And the vision for that was laid down even really before that meeting got started was D&D Insider. It worked really well that we would incorporate the vision for Insider into the 4th edition rules. And so from the ground up, we've really been able to build this to work very well with what the R&D team was developing for the RPG. So, we've talked a lot about what to expect from D&D Insider. We talked about it at Gen Con. We've been blogging about it. You've been seeing some of the previews on the website. There's really 6 parts to D&D Insider. The first part is our rules database. I'm going to read the text here because the font's a little bit small. It's a searchable online content database with real-time updates with all official information. So whether this information comes as a feat or a power that's in a splat book, whether it's an article that is up on Dragon or Dungeon, this all gets fed into the rules database, and it's at your fingertips to look up that rule that you need to know. So it's a great way to access content without necessarily lugging around an entire backpack full of books and having to thumb through everything to find what that particular rule you were looking for did. Then we have our character visualizer, and this is something that we'll actually be demonstrating here. We have a pre-alpha version of it. This is part of an entire package of online play that really gives the player and the DM the opportunity to run games whenever they want. This isn't necessarily a replacement for that experience you have around your kitchen table, but if you want to have your Saturday game or all your friends get together and you want to run another game on Thursday night when the kids have gone to sleep, this is a great opportunity to do that. The character visualizer lets you build essentially your own mini to be used on the game table. So now you don't necessarily need to go through the collection to find the one that sort of just best looks like your character. You can actually create that vision. It's a real mix and match suite of tools. If you want to put cleric robes on a paladin, that's fine. Or if you just want to use the sort of the preordained set of items that come with the particular class, you can do that as well. There's a lot of options in this, including making really ugly characters, as a couple of people pointed out this week from some screenshots that went out. I'm going to show you some pictures of characters that we've made in our alpha testing internally, and there are actually some very gorgeous creatures or characters as well. So next we have the character creator. This is really a 2-part suite. You have the visual side with the character visualizer, and then you have the character sheet side with the character creator. This is an online character sheet that you build your 4th edition character with. It taps into that rules database. So with drop-down menus, you can insert all the various racial and class abilities into your character sheet. Or if you want to go gonzo, you can turn off sort of the official stamp and just do whatever you want, including entering your own data. So if you have a homebrew feat that you want to put into this, you absolutely can do that. And it will just be flagged that you've now sort of gone outside the lines and done something that's not official. And next we have as sort of this trifecta, the D&D game table. This is playing Dungeons and Dragons over the internet in a 3D space, really to emulate what you do on the kitchen table. This is not WoW. There still requires the DM to do all the rules adjudication. Some of the things are done for you, like counting your movement, the number of spaces that you move. There's a die roller on this. You can preset particular rolls. If you have an attack roll that you just want to preset into that, you can hotkey it. And we're also demonstrating this here, an alpha version. There's if you've ever been to a jewelry store and seen those cases that the watches rotate on, there's a toolbar on the bottom of this that lets you put your entire collection of either, whether it's something that you want to show, a piece of art you want to show your players as a DM, your miniatures that you want to put into your dungeon, your preset die rolls, just the suite of everything that you would need to run the game on the game table. And then we have our editorial content through Dragon Magazine and Dungeon Magazine. This is, you've seen some previews of this. The content is going to really start to ramp up as we hit June. And all this information now goes into our database. So if we have a prestige class or a feat, any crunchy bit, it's now official content. It's in the database. It's fully searchable. And what we're going to be putting out in terms of books is the equivalent to about, or in terms of magazine content, is about the equivalent to a complete size book. So about 160 pages, or roughly the same content that Paizo was publishing when they were doing the print physical forms of the magazines, approximately 160 pages of content every month. And then finally, as we talked about the 4 parts, the sort of the four pillars of D&D 4th edition, we want to tap into our larger GleeMax initiative to build a very robust community where people can come, they can share their ideas, they can post notes about their campaign, they can share their characters, and just connect with D&D players around the world. So here are some screenshots from the character creator. You'll see a fair amount of variability in the types of characters that you can create. I'm just going to kind of click through these. Here's our UI, lots of drop-down menus. You can see that you can play different classes, different genders, different races. You can do young and old, different poses. I think this would make a great NPC, as would, there's another one here that I really like. This was made by Jonathan Tweet. Paladin. I think this guy looks like a great villain. Different types of armor and items that you can attach. You can add glow effects. There's a 2D background for every race, so each race has its own unique background. It's fully 360-degree rotatable. There's a Dragonborn, and then another one. So a lot of variety, and the options will just keep expanding as we release new products.